So the President of the United States this morning says, be cool, everything will be all right, and this is a great time to buy. We have a very unusual POTUS, that is for sure. We'll talk more about him in a minute. So I'm not quite as sanguine as he is, but the market seems to have listened, or maybe to something else, as Tesla again today is leading to the green and all the indices are following. The question is, will it hold today, unlike yesterday when it didn't hold? We live in interesting times. So Biden and Trump saw the same problem. They both agree on the problem. The problem is we need to reindustrialize the United States. We need to onshore. We need to bring manufacturing back. Biden did it by spending money the US didn't have to lure manufacturing to the United States. Trump is forcing companies to onshore while collecting money through tariffs to help reduce the debt that Biden created. Which method would you think would be smarter in the long term? Well, time is going to tell, but I know that adding to our debt, adding $2 trillion a year to our debt is not the smart move. We'll find out whether the tariffs is smarter. So this morning, the VIX is dropping a little bit, but it's still almost 50. So the whole question of whether we're in a risk on or risk off situation, we're definitely at risk off. But the reality is that we are bouncing against that 20% off on the S&P, which is a little bit encouraging. Bouncing off it 3 times now, even in this crazy, crazy time period. We've taken 3 assaults on the 20%, and it doesn't pierce the 20%. Teslarati has this morning with regard to Tesla. During Tesla's Q1 2025 all-hands meeting, CEO Elon Musk stated that the company will be producing its first Legion, 5,000 roughly, of Optimus robots this year. A look at Tesla's careers page suggests that the company is putting a lot of effort into growing its humanoid robot team, Optimus Jobs. Tesla's career page shows that about 80 Optimus-related jobs are available as of this writing. The listings are distributed amongst Tesla's production facilities, such as Palo Alto, Fremont, Sparks, and Austin. The job listings include openings for several departments from design to software to manufacturing. The hefty number of job listings related to the humanoid robots suggests that Tesla is trying to grow the Optimus team. It's no surprise, since Elon Musk says Optimus will likely be Tesla's most world-changing product, becoming 10 times larger than the company's next biggest product. This is from investing.com this morning. Benchmark has added Tesla stock to its best ideas list on Wednesday, arguing that the recent sell-off and dip in sales are overdone relative to the company's near-term catalyst and long-term growth potential. The brokerage reiterated its buy rating on the automotive shares, but lowered its price target from 475 to 350. Again, this is kind of like what we had yesterday from Dan Ives. It makes no sense. You just said the reason for and you're going to go on and talk about robotics. That hasn't changed, and it won't change. It doesn't matter whether we have a strong economy or a weak economy. It doesn't matter. Nothing. It doesn't change. It doesn't change the analysis at all. It might change the analysis with regard to how many cars we sell this year, but I think even that is probably wrong. Anyway, they changed their price target from 475 to 350. I'm not changing mine to reflect the recent sentiment shift following the tariff announcements. Tesla shares have dropped sharply from their post-election high above 480, retreating to the low 200s. Benchmark analyst 𝐂𝐸𝐿𝐵 sees this pullback as an opportunity. Quote, we believe the recent stock pullback and sales declines, while significant, are overblown considering the near-term issues impacting the company and the scope of opportunities around the corner, he said in a note. A key driver of optimism is Tesla's expected new vehicle release in the second quarter, which 𝐓𝐿𝐵 views as a potential turning point for deliveries. In addition, the analyst is cautiously optimistic about the upcoming launch of Tesla-operated robotaxis as a paid service in Austin, Texas, scheduled for June. While initially limited in scope, 𝐓𝐿𝐵 is monitoring the pace of geographic expansion. He also highlighted Tesla's limited exposure to new U.S. auto tariffs since the North American production is concentrated in California and Texas. Longer term, Tesla's ambitions beyond vehicles remain central to the bull course. Bill Case. Let me see that. Let me say that again. Longer term, Tesla's ambitions beyond vehicles remain central to the bull case. Benchmark's note pointed to the company's Optimus robotics platform, which could enable Tesla to transition from a vehicle manufacturer into a broad automation provider. At the same time, the brokers acknowledged several risks, including political pressure, an aging product line, an aging product line, and intensified global competition. It's like you just have to pull these out of the air because everybody says them. I don't understand. However, it sees signs that headwinds such as political backlash may ease as the year progresses. We believe the breadth of the near-term opportunities outweigh headwinds, Legg said, adding that autonomy and robotics could become a major growth engine in the year ahead. Despite cutting the target price, Benchmark continues to assign Tesla a market premium, citing its market leadership, near-term catalysts, strong management, and diversified business. Then we have this from automotive journalist Andre Nedelis. He took an updated Tesla 3 performance for a ride. And I have to change thing here. So he acknowledged criticism involving Tesla CEO Elon Musk's growing political influence. What does that have to do with his ride? He said the Model 3 performance is still the one to beat when it comes to high performance in electric vehicles. When the company first announced the updated Model 3 performance, he said it was considered to be a perfect high-performance daily driver, and it delivers our most focused experience yet, giving it high ranking and saying it is the best car for the money that you can buy. I'm not sure if you meant only BEVs or all cars. This is Randy Kirk. Please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, notify. You want to be notified. Why? Okay, today is Jeff Lutz. If you ever wanted to hear from Jeff Lutz, I am going to try to get Jeff to give us some idea of what would happen if you had to build an iPhone in the United States. I feel like this is a worthwhile thing to discuss. But we'll talk about the bonds, we'll talk about the tariffs, we'll talk about all manufacturing, we'll talk about Tesla, but that's going to be my main goal today. And then after that, it'll be Brian Wang, and you can be assured at 7:45, you're going to get a heck of a show today. All right, this is the bond market. Okay, this is the crazy overnight. I don't know if you were following it overnight, but all of a sudden the bonds went nuts. It was like nothing I've ever seen. Well, I'm sure it's happened once or twice before in history, but not when I was paying attention to bonds. Anyway, we went from 3.9 on the bonds yesterday at the close or during the day. By the middle of the night, the bonds were sitting at 4.5. This is just nuts. You could just watch them going straight up. It was crazy. So anyway, we talked about this a lot last night. If you didn't see the show with Nicholas Gibbs last night, I'll put a card up on that later. Oh my gosh, he and I had a great time, but we didn't agree on much of anything, but we did talk about the bonds a lot. Anyway, China is selling bonds. We know that's true, but is this their method of trying to hurt the United States? Or are they selling bonds to prop up their falling yuan? Some people are saying they're buying gold and as they sell the bonds. I'm not sure about any of that, but what's happening this morning is the bonds are not up nearly as much. We'll look at that in a couple of seconds, but it was dramatically less this morning. So what is really going on? Some people have there's a lot of ideas out there. We'll talk about that now. So Market Watch says Treasury bond prices plunged at one point which means the rates went up. So the cost of the bond goes down as the rates go up, the interest rate. And they actually plunged during the depths of the COVID crash also. Both bond sell-offs were brief. Both provided buying opportunities of the bonds. In late November 2008, you could have bought inflation-protected U.S. Treasury bonds, paying a guaranteed interest rate of inflation plus more than 4% a year ago for 7 years. So in other words, where inflation was at around 1%, you could have bought 4% guarantee for 7 years, and inflation plus more than 3% for 20 years. These yields were, to use a technical term from the bond market, absolutely barking mad. It was like someone coming up to you in the street and offering you money. Afterwards, analysts came up with various explanations. The most often repeated was that the investors who had to raise cash in a panic all rushed to sell their long-term bonds at any price. And this today, some people are saying it's the opposite. Some people are saying people are selling their bonds to buy equities at these really good prices. But whatever the reason, according to the article, it offered an opportunity for ordinary investors. Only time will tell if this latest mayhem in the bond market will turn out the same way. I mean, buying bonds in the middle of the night last night actually appealed to me, and I've never bought a bond in my life. This is from Mario Knopfel this morning. He says, Treasury Secretary is considering delisting Chinese stocks from the U.S. stock exchange as an option in this continuing trade war. Besant just dropped a bombshell. Delisting Chinese companies from the U.S. stock exchange is officially on the table. I checked Trueflation this morning because Cathie Wood is starting to pay attention to Trueflation. You may remember, if you've been watching this channel for a long time, I was reporting Trueflation almost daily until I lost confidence in them. But I just thought for fun, I'd check it out this morning. Trueflation says that inflation is now at 1.34%. And so let's take that into consideration as we look at the CPI tomorrow. And maybe the markets this morning that are up so nicely this morning might be taking into consideration the CPI is likely to be a good number tomorrow. That's what most people, I think, are expecting. Business Insider has this from Ray Dalio. Now, Ray Dalio, I feel, is very extreme on the whole business of bonds and of all kinds of debt. Ray has been screaming from the hilltops for many, many years that we're heading into a debt crisis, a worldwide debt crisis. But I thought this was pretty good this morning. Dalio, so I don't always agree, in other words, with Dalio. He has a message for people. Don't think the tariffs are just about tariffs. This is what I think he's right. For several years, the Bridgewater Association's founder has been vocal about his assessment that the rules of the world economy and geopolitical arena are systematically disintegrating. He published a book on this in 2021. In a social media post on Tuesday, Dalio wrote that people should also focus on the underlying factors that led to President Donald Trump's election and his new import taxes. Quote, the far bigger, far more important thing is to keep in mind that we are seeing a classic breakdown of the major monetary, political, and geopolitical orders, he wrote. This sort of breakdown occurs only about once in a lifetime, but they have happened many times in history when similar unsustainable conditions were in place. This is what I've been saying for days and days and days, weeks and weeks and months. The billionaire highlighted three major forces at play: America's unsustainable debt relationships, which is his big hobby horse, widening wealth and education gaps undermining democracy in the U.S., and Washington's America First approach. Dalio on debt. The first point relates to how U.S. markets are built on debt. Not only U.S. markets, but the world markets are built on debt by buying and borrowing from countries that can manufacture cheaper goods like China. But many industries have gone too far and become hooked. And so that we end up on who plays the fiddle, right? How does that saying go? The person who you borrow from is in control of you. Okay, so China holding jillions of dollars worth of our debt means they have some control. This article goes on to say the fear greed index is all the way on. No, that's me. I'm going to enter. So he's okay. That was it. So that was all. That was all that I kept of the article. I guess the rest of it was pretty obvious. So in addition, what we're seeing this morning is the fear greed index is all the way on fear. That's almost always a good time to buy. Even if the market has another 20% risk to the downside, which we talked about last night, the upside is way more likely right now, and the upside is huge for Tesla. And then I posted this on X this morning. I just want you to listen. I hope you've stayed long enough to hear this. There's two people in the world right now. I mean, two people in the entire world who have a plan. Trump and Musk. Tell me who else? Tell me anybody else that has a vision. Tell me anybody else out there that is articulating a vision day after day after day that people are lining up behind. Two people, Trump and Musk. Look around. There's nobody else. I'm going to go with those who are clear about the vision and have the guts to move toward the vision, even when many other people fail to see it. And even if their popularity tanks, this is called statesmanship. So I am very happy right now to be following these two guys. All right, let's go ahead and take a look. Go ahead, tell me who else. Tell me somebody else who has vision right now. All right, let's go ahead and see what's happened with the markets. It is, I'm sure it's interesting. Okay, so the Dow, which had jumped way into positive territory, has moved back down to neutral. It's still up percentage. I'm sorry, down slightly, 0.02%. So just barely into the red and actually moving towards the green. I'm thinking it'll be green in a couple of seconds. NASDAQ is up 1.18%. We've got the S&P up 0.28%, and we've got Tesla up 4.21%. It also had been up a lot more earlier, but has fallen off of that. But all of them now are kind of tweaking towards the positive. We'll see what happens. We'll check this again in a second. The Magnificent Seven, all in positive territory. We got NVIDIA up 3.5%, Apple up 3.18%. Now that's a tell. I'm not sure what's doing what that's a tell. That suggests that some people think that there's going to be a break in the Chinese thing. That at least, I've heard no zero rumors or anything else on that. You've got the Cathie Woods are mixed right now with PayPal down and TDOC down, but everything else is up on the Cathie Woods. Again, I'm just going to take a quick look here. Yeah, you still have everybody going up and trending up right now. All right, so let's go ahead to the bonds. The crazy bond market. Oh my gosh. So the 10-year is now up 12.4 at 4.38. But remember, overnight it was at almost 4. Well, I think it might have touched on 4.5. So up 12.2 makes no sense. If interest rates, if inflation really is at 2% even, you'd be talking about being able to buy a 10-year at 2.3, 2.4% over the existing inflation rate, which is a very, very good deal. Not as good as those deals we talked about earlier, but still a good deal. The 20-year is at 4.8. The 30-year is also 4.8. So very, 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 could be very, very good deals. You've got the 2-month is up only 1 basis point at 4.334, and the 2-year is up 3.5 basis points this morning. But the 10-year is really the one to watch, as we've talked about for how long now. Okay, the oil business, we're seeing a big drop off in oil this morning, down $2.69 to $56.89. This again would suggest some people think that there's going to be a recession, and or they believe that Saudi Arabia is being seriously going to do what they said they're going to do. They're going to increase the amount of oil production. They seriously believe Trump when he's going to jawbone the oil people to drill, baby drill. Natural gas is also down 1.39% this morning, and to frack, baby frack. And that he just said yesterday he's going to encourage the coal people to get back into producing coal. So these would be reasons why oil would be down 4.55% this morning. But how much lower will it go? As Nicholas Gibbs again said last night, you got to be careful. At a certain point, these guys are start capping wells, not creating more. Gold is up $107 this morning at $3,096. So right now there is a move into gold. Now this would suggest that the China move is correct, and maybe other people are following the China move, which is to sell bonds and buy gold. This is what I'm hearing all over the place, that China is selling. We know that they've been doing this for months, but that's what they're doing in a big way right now, and that's what's moving the markets. Silver is up 2.47% at $30.40. Copper up 1.35, reversing yesterday's trend and reversing again the idea that we're heading into a recession. If copper is moving up, that suggests no recession. Okay, there you go. So we've got the dollar mixed again, although it's down a little bit over the last few days. And there's people with headlines, oh, the dollar, the dollar. Are you kidding me? The dollar is super strong. It's very near its highs. Bitcoin up 972 at 77.6. And there you go. That is where the markets are sitting. Jamie Dimon says a recession is a likely outcome, but Jamie Dimon's talking about if the tariffs stay where they are, and you know they're not going to. Okay, so that was the headline there. Let's go ahead and go back, take a look. Yes, Tesla has moved up again. It's up 5.24% now at 233.49, almost a high for the day. The Dow is back in the green. Okay, interesting day. Wow, wow, wow. Okay, so as mentioned, you're going to want to go ahead for sure and look at the conversation I had last night. If you haven't looked at it, everybody loved it. It is he's becoming a big favorite, Nick Gibbs. Last night, I'll put the card right here. Later on today, how much better could it be on this Wednesday, this craziness, than to have Jeff Lutz followed by Brian Wang? I mean, I couldn't wish for better than those two at the end of the day today. Let's see. I think that's all I've got for you. So, join Patreon and become a member here, or one or the other or both. It has been great talking to you.